Check, check. Testing. Check, check. Testing. Very warm welcome to our viewers at home today. My name is Nevan Jayawardena, and I have been invited by the CMSC again. So thank you, CMSC, for bringing me back to commentate on another exciting racing. In this case, something new, something that everyone may be quite not used to yet. But this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking the racing off-road. Introducing to you the Syren RCX Cross Car Cup, where the winner of this, where the champion of this series will get to drive a real-life cross car with thanks to Syren RCX, the cross car manufacturer outside of Europe and made proudly in Sri Lanka. We have quite the cast for you today here, the racers, some familiar names, some new names. Let's run you through the top 10. You see on your screen, we see Brian Pereira, Tiago Pereira, Shyama Mendis, Tehane Ranga, Kavin Rajapaksha, Seshan Gunasekara, Abdullah Ayaz, Viren Boteju, Savi Ratnayaka, and Adam Junaid. Now, Brian Pereira, man who's very familiar with the esports race, having introduced him multiple times before for many other series we've had in the past in ACC, as well as having raced in GT7, being a multi-GT7 championship winner, and having represented Lanka as well in the virtual Olympic Singapore a while back. Tiago Pereira, another man who is very familiar with the racing scene, and also the fourth wall is with us today and has also moved down the grid to introduce the rest of the drivers. We have Shevan Vitarana, Sulaik Mushin, we have, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but Mabu Tanzila. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies if not. Kel Minjung and Kevan Samarji were rounding off the grid. Yes, it is a stacked grid we have for you today, and we need to introduce a new man on the grid here, and that is Adam Junaid. As his friends and other colleagues in the racing world would like to call him in the esports scene when he dominated in Dirt Rally as Rally Junaid. He's probably gonna give me one for that. But yes, we have Rally Junaid as well with us today. And the cross cars, rear-wheel drive beasts powered by a motorbike engine, completely different to what we know about the Formula cars as well. Barely any downforce, but mainly the grip all comes from one's right foot. And it's all about car control and precision with these beasts. And the drivers today and in all the forthcoming races, we're going to have to need to understand how to control the car's dynamics as they transition from road to gravel to road, mud, and etc. etc. So we have an exciting race for you today, ladies and gentlemen, with the winner of the entire series, the champion, being given the chance to test out the Syren RCX in real life. Thank you once again to our sponsors. We have iRacing, who has kindly provided our racers with the codes to enter this racing series. We have Chama Computers and, of course, Next Level Racing for giving our drivers the ultimate immersion in this series. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as we wait for the session to go underway. RCX.
Incidents differently if your car was damaged, and because then obviously we will see if you lost control of the car because it was damaged, and we will look into that. So, but if the car is undrivable, like I said, immediately back to the pits. I mean, you are going to lose positions. It's pointless. You are just going to ruin somebody else's race if you have an undrivable car. But yeah, wheel damage is, I think, very common with these cars, especially if you take a curb too hard, it can get damaged and it's still drivable. Like, you barely feel a difference. So yeah, that is fine.
The issue is
Any-
these cars don't get fixed in the pits, right? So
Yeah, once you're damaged, that's it. No
That's
repairs.
it, because you're anyways going to have the towing time and you're gonna fall really far back.
No,
So
they
the
don't.
car
Yeah.
doesn't get fixed.
Yeah,
They don't do it.
repair.
right, yeah.
There's no repairs.
quick fixes, yeah.
So it's like
So if
real
you
life.
do have them,
Damage a
Yeah.
car, you're done for the day.
Yeah. So like I said, be careful and be respectful to everyone. Because it's a short race as well, so you can't really make up positions also from stop. So even if there was. So please be careful. Any other questions?
Yeah. Also, like the Joker exit, the Joker entry. Also, if you're on the inside of the first corner, don't suddenly decide, oh, I'm going to go to the Joker and cut straight across and
Yeah,
make out
that
four
is
cars.
very true. You are
And
going
if
to be
you're on the-
liable to that if you do that. And
if you're on the inside going into the corner and you do want to take the Joker, don't suddenly slam on the brakes if there's some people behind you to let the
Yeah.
person on the outside. If you're on the inside
Yeah.
and you have to take the Joker, you've kind of cooked yourself. So
yeah, that is something you need to be smart with, and you need
Yeah.
to manage that. Do not do anything
Yeah.
stupid
basically
and
just don't
suddenly.
go for an
Yeah,
don't go
it's
for
the
an
same
overtake
rules
if you're
as a
standing.
roundabout. No, I mean you can't stay on the
Yeah.
inside line and suddenly turn left.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
exactly.
take people out. So yeah,
Also, pit exits, if you have like gone in back to the pits for some reason and you're
Yeah.
exiting the pits during the race, like if you don't have your map, just check your relative at all
yeah.
costs.
That is obviously standard. I mean, anyone who obviously causes a collision in any form, exiting the pits, exiting the Joker lap, and you suddenly cut right into a car, or you turn left into the person trying to go take the Joker lap from the inside line, you are obviously gonna get penalized. So that's without nothing to mention there. I mean, it's obviously driving etiquette, right? You have to be mindful with those things. This is a new discipline, new thing. Joker laps are new, but those kind of things you have to be mindful and respect other drivers.
What about blue flags? Because we're gonna probably have
Yeah, I mentioned blue flags. So blue flags, you have to be mindful. Like, do not change your line or speed drastically, because especially on the dirt, it's not really easy to navigate. So
Would you recommend, if you have the opportunity, to maybe go off the circuit but to the grass or something for a blue flag situation? It's such a tight circuit. There might be like further contact by a person
no,
trying
we
to let
can't
someone-
ask drivers to do that, because then you're asking a driver to leave the circuit for a blue flag. It's not right. I mean, we have GT3
More
races where
dangerous,
blue
right?
flags are there. Yeah, it becomes more dangerous. I mean, the best thing to do is there are places where you can pass, like the wide areas, like maybe on the straight after the jump, or even this straight between 5 and 6, which is also tricky, because you have to, if you're slowing down, you need to watch out for someone leaving the Joker route, or even the start finish straight. I mean, through turn 9 and 1. So
Can we say within one lap?
yeah, within the lap, try to find a spot. I mean, you'll have like 3 different opportunities. So within the lap, please move out of the way for the car behind. Any other questions?
No, just final thing to say, not to fool around with this, please. People are actually wasting their time, and no, sorry, not wasting, but taking time out of their lives to
Taking
actually do this. So,
Yeah.
to the new young kids who are involved, if this is a joke for you all, please go somewhere else and do it.
I agree. Yes, please take this competition seriously. This is obviously everyone's competing here for a chance to drive a real life cross car, the Sri Lankan drivers. So please be mindful.
Yeah, so on top of that, we need everyone to have the new international FIA license for Sri Lankans is issued
Yeah,
by
that has
CMSC.
been announced already by Savi, I think. So everyone,
so
yeah.
It was a requirement to take part in round one, since the time frame was small.
Yeah, we are going to allow round 1. So by round 2, please have your international license ready. All right, is that it? Is everyone okay?
Letting you know, our entire briefing was caught on the stream. So hello, stream.
Oh,
Hello, world.
right.
Yes, the stream has in fact captured the wonderful, wonderful briefing, and those are words from Thiago Pereira, Denan Avesekara, Viren Boteju, and many other, as you may have already heard. And frankly, I think that was a great way to show the mentality of the drivers right now as they're getting into a new scene that no one is familiar with, or some that are slightly familiar with. But needless to say, the drivers are now on track, and we can see just how extreme, I should say, the course is different to the way we handled the F Championship earlier. Multiple surface changes, multiple undulations, jumps, and of course the very finicky cross cars that everyone's going to have to get a hold on and a wrap on for the rest of the series. And this being round one at Winton Raceway, we're going to be seeing very, very different lines taken through here. Of course, some may be familiar with this track. I think we did run it for the F4 series, but on the tarmac section of the track, as you remember, I believe it was Denan Abesekara's wonderful dive bomb on a racer. But now we've gone off the course, we've gone infield, and we have taken to the dirt. And there's already a few cars that have parked up on the wrong dirt of the track, the grass rather. But yes, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, how the track works. We have multiple surface changes that being road to gravel and vice versa, as well as the drivers going to kick the rear end of that RCX car out a little wide just to gain a little bit more time, because as we do know, who doesn't appreciate a good Scandi flick on a dirt racing, in dirt racing. But of course, the drivers will have to worry about the surface changes, because going from dirt to tarmac isn't necessarily just of surface changes as opposed to going from tarmac to gravel. But cross cars can certainly handle that. But one thing the drivers are going to have to watch out for is the sudden kick of oversteer, and it's going to be interesting to see how drivers try to mitigate that entire kick of oversteer and try to nail it of sorts in the right in the middle of the balance between control and absolute carnage. Tiny tires certainly of the cross car don't necessarily help the drivers with stability, so it's all in the hands of the driver. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a spec series, so expect all the cars to be equalized, leaving it only up to driver talent here. Now we are riding with Shamal Mendes in red cross car. I believe the camera is following. Yes, that is Shamal Mendes in the cross car, the red one. The number 67, one drive on the O, comes into contact with the wall, and see, that's exactly what I meant there. Ladies and gentlemen, these cross cars are very finicky and always on the edge of sorts. So this is a good foray into helping these drivers understand how these cars handle, and also will give them perfect practice for running the eventual Syren RCX, the prize at the end of the championship for the winner of the whole series. So good things to note, good things to watch as we watch on board the practices. Somebody goes a little wide there, and that's Viren Boteju. We are now following, not the person that went wide. But Multiple Racing, somebody pops a wheelie and follows him into the wall. That is Kevan Samarajiva, who has popped a wheelie, and Brian Pereira has also followed him into the wall. My apologies. I believe the drivers are trying to use the last remnants of practice, try and learn the limits of these cross cars before they actually begin the race. And yes, before I forget here, ladies and gentlemen, in this series there will be a joker lap where all the drivers are mandated to take it once. There, going off the left, you see there, where all the drivers will be mandated to take it once in effort to try and equalize the field. So that will be interesting. Keep your eyes peeled for whoever takes the joker lap, because that lap is slightly longer, and that allows all the drivers in the infield to catch up to the driver taking the joker lap. So the great equalizer of sorts, as there's somebody who got really close and has quite literally hit the cross car. Very interesting there. And we are now riding on board Adam Junaid. Riding Junaid there, that's Tehan Eranga, the champion of the F4 iRacing series. Man with absolute dominance in formulas, and there's a speaking of which, there's a cross car that has absolutely barrel rolled off the track there. But going back to Tehan, there's another cross car that's round. Just goes to show here, ladies and gentlemen, as I will put a pin on into Tanaranga there, to our loyal viewers at home who needs no introduction to Tanaranga. But these cross cars are certainly very finicky, and it's all about nailing that line through this track, and it's going to be very interesting to see which driver can actually do so. But anyway, Tanaranga, the 2026 F4 iRacing champion, is now back to try and test his mettle on the dirt or the cross car series, and might I add, he has set an absolute dominant time in the qualifiers and is certainly going to be one to watch for the rest of this series. So could it be a back-to-back series win or series dominance for Tehanaranga, or with the likes of Brian Pereira here, who we are following on board, defeat Tehanaranga? Only time will tell here, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, this series extends into June, so we are going to be racing for quite a while here. And as Saviratnayaka gets caught under the compression of his cross-car suspension there, sending it to the wide. But now we are on board Devan Vitarna, I should say. My apologies. But yes, can Brian Pereira? I should mention, because Viren Boteju did bring up an interesting point while we were talking with drivers yesterday, that most of the drivers on this grid are actually Gran Turismo 7 graduates. So make of that what you will. I'm sure Mr. Savi Ratnayak is going to have a word or two to tell me after that, as he is strictly against PlayStation players. But I am here to say that Gran Turismo 7 was a championship before the PC took over, and well, in the wise words of Viren Boteju, if you do want to have fun, I guess Gran Turismo is there, but this is where the serious racing is. iRacing, ACC, and ladies and gentlemen, quite potentially something new coming. We shall see in due time. For now, let's focus on Abdullah Ayaz, the man from Bangladesh, a man who is also no stranger to CMSC Esports racing. He has taken part in the F4 Championship as well as the APMC Championship. And man who is no stranger to CMSC, we have Kevan Samarajiva, the number 12. Let's keep an eye on him as well as we watch on board his cross-car timing. Currently racing the number 12 cross-car, and there's a cross-car parked right outside the runoff area there. Now we're back with Sharma Mendes. Can the fourth wall hear me? As we always do, ladies and gentlemen, we do best to see if the fourth wall can hear us. So if the fourth wall can hear us, please throw the mouse on screen and do something with the mouse, just to test and see if we do have stream privileges. I believe I saw a mouse there. Was there a mouse? Okay, I have a better test. Can the fourth wall switch drivers if they can hear us? There we go. The fourth wall is in fact with us. And to whoever is behind the fourth wall, thank you for helping us with the stream as well. Without you, of course, without them, of course, we cannot bring you this wonderful racing action live to your screens here on YouTube. And of course, thanks to CMSC for running this competition, with our partners Chama Computers and Racing, as well as iRacing, for giving us the codes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are going to start qualifying. 5 minutes, absolutely everything they've got, and also the qualifying session is solo. So we will not see multiple cars on track because, for obvious reasons, that's going to be absolute chaos with the sheer amount of drivers on the track. This is going to be a solo run. This is going to be a run where all the drivers are going to have the track to themselves to nail their lines and to focus with utmost determination. However, if any of the drivers hit the joker lap in this qualifying session, they will be disqualified. Absolutely nothing to do behind in the disqualification. So, the drivers are going to have to push their cross cards to the limit, but at the same time try to avoid the wall, because I believe if they do damage it, it's going to take a while for the pit to repair the cards. Or I don't even know if the pit does repair the cards in this seat. But, you know what they say, learn on the job. So, we are riding on board Thiago Pereira now in the number 81 cross car, as he takes an extremely close line over the sleeping policeman there. And for our new viewers who do not know what a sleeping policeman is, it's the big blue sausage curves on the track there that quote-unquote prevent the drivers from absolutely sending it down the inside of the car, or of the track rather. So going on board Thiago Pereira now as he tries to take it absolutely close to the little styrofoam barriers there on the inside of the track. As he crosses the line, it's going to be nothing, I believe. Oh, third place. There we go. So Shyama Mendes is currently in the lead with the 39.4, followed by Seshan Gunasekara, another Gran Turismo graduate from in P2 with 39.5, followed by Tehan Eranga in P3 with a 39.8. Thiago Pereira with 39.8.9.2. That's 2,000ths of a second that separate Tehan Eranga and Thiago Pereira. Abdullah Ayaz in P5, Viren Botejo P6, Savi Ratnayaka P7, Jevan Vitarna P8, Kelvin Jung P9, Jeff Chi P10, Mahbub Tanzila in P11, Kevan Samarajiva P12. Is there any change to the top? There is a change. Seshan Gunasekara has gone the fastest with a 39.1. Shyama Mendes with a 39.4. Thiago Pereira still in third place. Abdullah Ayaz now up in P4. Tehan Eranga knocked down to P5. Viren Botejo, number 10, still holding P6. Savi Ratnayaka P7. My goodness, this is going to be one interesting race here, ladies and gentlemen. Riding on board Rally Junaid or Adam Junaid, I feel like I am going to get a big telling off from Adam himself if I call him Rally Junaid. So for the remainder of this series, we shall call him Adam Junaid, unless specified by the man himself. Adam is down in P8 with an improved lap time, 40.5. Shyama Mendes also P2. But Adam Junaid, one talent to watch for this series, still needs to be picking up the pace if he wants to be competing with the likes of Seshan Gunasekara, Shyama Mendes and Thiago Pereira. This is going to be very interesting. Jehan Silva also down in P12, and Shevan Vitarna precedes him in P12. Shehan Silva unfortunately in P13. Kemin Jung still P14, Kevan Samarajiva P15, and Jeff Chi has been knocked down to P16 with a 42.1 so far. Alright, let's see where everybody stacks with less than 1 minute to go. Nearly 45 seconds left in the session. Tongue twisted early in the morning, or rather afternoon for me. Seshan Gunasekara, P1 still. Shyama Mendes, P2. Brian Pereira, P. Is not your typical order here. It's not what we're used to, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the difference between the cross cars and the F4s. It's all about car control, all up to the drivers. Can the fourth wall please take us to the top 10 for now? Like the fourth wall is busy, but bear with us here, ladies and gentlemen. As of now, your top 3 is Seshan Gunasekara, Shyama Mendes and Brian Pereira. What a combo at the top. We are going to see quite the battle reminiscent of the GT7 era. where Seshan Gunasekara had a fierce championship battle throughout the series with Brian Pereira. And then to make things even more interesting, there's Shyama Mendes, who has been consistent fighting for the top and in fact our P2 championship place, the second place man in the F4 championship. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have we have a little time to discuss who we have from the qualifying. Seshan Gunasekara takes pole position, followed by Brian Pereira in P2, Abdullah Ayaz in P3, and Viren Boteju in P4. Savi Ratnaka P5, Adam Junaid P6, Shahan Silva P7, Kevan Samarajiva P8. And we are underway for the Cross Car Championship Series, powered by Syren RCX, and there's already contact behind from the drivers. But it's relatively clean, and that's Abdullah Ayaz, who has taken the Joker lap early, I believe, with Brian Pereira to avoid the chaos, and that's Viren Boteju, who's also gone to take the Joker lap. Those three drivers obviously playing the smart game, trying to eliminate the longer lap off the beginning of the race. But remember, there are a lot of laps, and there they are. They have joined the track once again from the Joker lap. And now they're taking a very wide line here, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolute racing, and there's contact between Savi Ratnayaka and somebody there. I do not know who that was, but that was unfortunate contact. Brian Pereira out clear. Seshan Gunasekara second place, as in third, Savi Ratnayaka P4. All the drivers jostling for position in this tiny track. This is nothing like F4 racing here, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolute chaos. Pushed into around a kilometer track, and there's Savi Ratnayaka, Adam Junaid, all going for the Joker lap right now. And there you can see this camera angle. Wonderful shot, just showcasing the difference in size or distance between the Joker lap and the standard lap. Savi Ratnayaka rejoins in P3, followed by Adam Junaid in 4. Skipping the contact, and that's Abdullah Ayaz, who has gone on track. There's more contact behind. People flying off into the barrier, obviously getting it all wrong with their cars. That's very unfortunate. But Shahan Silva up in P5 with Viren Boteju, absolutely smelling exhaust fumes there in P6. That's going to be very interesting as Shahan Silva goes for the Joker lap. Viren Boteju now having to deal with an absolute blinder of a standard lap. Shahan Silva is going to be flying in and cruising in with ease in the Joker lap, with having very few corner changes as compared to the standard lap. And there's Viren Boteju coming right out behind Shahan Silva. But my apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. The Joker lap is in fact shorter and quicker. So the drivers, it's pretty much like Mario Kart. It's much a Mario Kart shortcut, if you will. But this is not Mario Kart. This is Cross Cars, and there's way more to go here. 4 laps left in the session, I believe, because the lap counter at the top left of your screen shows 4 laps to go. Seshan Gunasekara absolutely flying and clearing the field. Never mind, that's Brian Pereira, who has now jumped Seshan Gunasekara, and it's still a second between them. So forget that battle by watching the battle between Shahan Silva and Viren Boteju, as Viren is trying to go for a slightly shorter line there through the dirt complex and now into the tarmac. Shahan Silva seems to be pulling away from Viren Boteju in the section where tarmac is concerned, but Viren Boteju slowly clawing it back, showing his experience once again. Going on both these teams, you can just see how bare bones these cross cars are, with not even a glass or let alone a plastic sheet blocking the dirt. It's just pure grates. And it's very interesting to see as Viren Boteju has got a much quicker line, and there we go. Viren Boteju has made the move on Shahan Silva and is now in P5. Shahan Silva unfortunately drops down P6. And now up in the lead, Brian Pereira and Seshan Gunasekara. Deja vu here, ladies and gentlemen. They battled in GT7 in Gran Turismo, and now they're battling in iRacing. My goodness, Seshan Gunasekara with the fastest lap so far, and he's still hot on the tails of Brian Pereira. My goodness, if this isn't deja vu for the both of them, this is certainly going to be interesting. Gran Turismo 7 graduates, man, it brings a tear to my eye knowing that there are absolutely wonderful racing action going on here at the front of the track here. Brian Pereira still keeping his cross car well within boundaries of the track, and Seshan Gunasekara, look at these two, they're driving in tandem. It's almost like a toge battle we're watching here in front of our eyes. But Brian Pereira taking the cross car absolutely wide over the sausage curves. They're going across the start-finish straight. But now we're going into the penultimate lap here, ladies and gentlemen. It's all up to Brian Pereira to keep his cool. But Seshan Gunasekara obviously is going to try and push it to the limit. So what are we going to see here from both the drivers? This is going to be very interesting. As, hang on here, ladies and gentlemen, I am being inquired. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest here. It is none other than our very own Denan Abesekara, who is here to explain to you, good viewers at home, how the race layout works. So please take it away, Mr. Denan Abesekara.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea on the race layout and how the drivers will be selected. So we have the first heat race where we have 12 drivers competing out of the permitted 24 for this event. So today I don't think we have 24 drivers, but the normal way it works is first heat race 12 drivers take part and the top 4 advance to the feature race, and then in heat 2 we have the remaining 12 who take part and the top 4 advance to the feature race. Then we are going to have a consolation race where, since we now have 4 and 4 taken from the 2 12s, we're going to have the remaining 16 drivers that didn't make it take part, and they are going to compete, and the top 4 of that race will advance to the feature race. And then we're going to have 4 total 12 people competing in the final feature race. And if you didn't know, the way the order is taken right now for these races are odd and even numbers from the qualifying. So yeah, that's the race layout. I'll leave the rest to you, Neva.
Right, thank you. So Denan, please clarify for us. That means the top 4 from this race will be Brian, Seshan, Savi and Adam, yes?
Assuming there's no further change in positions, yeah, they will advance to the final feature race.
All right. And the next feature race, sorry, not the feature race, but the next heat will feature which drivers?
Basically, I think just now we had the odd numbers from qualifying. So first in qualifying, wait, let me just take a look.
Yes,
yeah, the first in qualifying, the third in qualifying, and so on. And this coming race now is going to be the even numbers.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Denan.
All right.
We will leave the race directing to you. All the very best.
Enjoy the race. Take care.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from our race director himself, Denan Abesekara, a man who's manager to the F4 series as well, gave a damn good fight. But now, we are on board the even number race, as Denan has now clarified. Shyama Mendes on pole with Thiago Pereira in P2, Tehane Ranga P3, as here in the cross cars, rev the engines all the way. We are waiting for the lights to go green. Wow, they are absolutely giving it everything, huh? They are waiting anxiously for the lights. We go.
Green flag, green flag.
It's green, 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 and we are underway for Heat 2 of the Cross Car Series race. It's Suleik Mushin following on board, but let's not do that. We're going to follow the guys up in front. There's somebody going by. That's Thiago Pereira, who is up in P2. And I believe that's Thiago Pereira, who is up in P1 right now. But I believe Shyama Mendes has gone straight for the Joker lap. This is a relatively closer field as we're watching Tehane Ranga battle the likes of Suleik Mushin and Kameen Rajapaksa there in the very obvious multicolor cross car. And there's contact between Thiago Pereira. Someone's gone wrong. Oh my god, as Kameen Pereira is absolutely emoting on the rest of the drivers doing a wheelie there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Suleik Mushin, I do not know which driver is which, but Shyama Mendes looks to be absolutely clear. That's Tehane Ranga, that's Suleik Mushin, that's Kameen, and that's Thiago. There we go. Okay. Kameen Rajapaksa unfortunately comes into contact with Thiago Pereira, or I may have got it wrong there, but unfortunate for Thiago Pereira, having led the first half of the race. Oh, that's interesting. But Suleik Mushin is currently in P3. Thiago Pereira, they are all taking the Joker lap now, as opposed to P1, as opposed to lap 1. But Tehane Ranga is now up in P2. Thiago Pereira absolutely getting a tank slapper on that cross car, absolutely sending it round the final complex of corners here at Winton Raceway. But there's going to be a lot of work to do. If Thiago does want to qualify, he's going to have to jump off. Never mind, Thiago's up in P4. So as it stands, ladies and gentlemen, your top 4 progressing into the heat race is going to be Shyama Mendes, Tehane Ranga, Suleik Mushin and Thiago Pereira. Kameen Rajapaksa absolutely nowhere to be seen, as Thiago Pereira is looking for a very nice move here on Suleik Mushin. But Suleik will say, absolutely not, I want that. Oh, hang on a minute, Kavin Rajpaksa up in P3. So this, oh yeah, Kavin has just taken the Joker lap. So this is the battle for the final slot in the heat race. So this is going to be very, very interesting between Suleik Machine and Thiago Pereira. Well, let's see how this battle unfolds. Thiago Pereira, he's going for a move down the inside. This is a Denan Abesekara-esque move. Pardon the voice crack there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a little bit of contact between Thiago Pereira and Suleik Mushin, and Thiago, I believe, let Suleik go because that was a bit of brushing off there. But rubbing is racing in Rallycross, and that's something that is kind of allowed in Formula as opposed to circuit racing, because where else are you going to go if the cross car loses grip? Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you've seen Rallycross highlights, you know just what I mean. But as it stands, these cross cars are very fragile, so I guess these drivers would not want to collide or make contact with each other at any given moment. But Suleik Mushin keeping a cool head, and Thiago Pereira trying to send it the long way around on Suleik Mushin. Is that working out for him? A little bit maybe, because he has gained a little time on Suleik. There, nothing to say for the drivers up in front. I mean, Shyama Mendes, Tehane Ranga, the two iRacing. Again, deja vu over here, because Shyama Mendes and Tehane Ranga are once again battling it on track. But Kavin Rajpaksa, a new driver in the mix, is up in P3, because these two drivers are absolutely having a right over battle going into the start-finish straight. Now as Thiago tries to send it a little wide, gain a little more overspeed on Suleik Mushin. Now we're going to see a move here into the long right hand of Suleik, and Thiago keeping it absolutely neat and tidy. Tandem almost. Suleik looks like he has a little bit of upset cross car. Thiago taking absolute liberties with the sleeping policeman there. But that's very interesting to see these two drivers take a little bit of a wide line. And that's Suleik Mushin who's gone a little wide. No, the fourth wall. We switch back to Suleik Mushin. No, we switched to Shyama Mendes at the wrong time. Oh, this is the equivalent of being Lance Strolled here. We've been Lance Strolled. And we do not know what has happened to Suleik Mushin and Thiago Pereira. But this is I believe Thiago Pereira has cleared Suleik Mushin. Oh dear. That was not what we would have wanted. We want to see the battle, and that's Thiago Pereira. We finally joined. Thiago Pereira has cleared Suleik Mushin. I believe there was a mistake on Suleik's part, and that cost him the final slot into the feature race. So Thiago Pereira is now clear of Suleik, but I say that it's still one lap to go, and anything can happen in these cross cars. Hit a sleeping policeman in the wrong way, hit a styrofoam barrier, hit any barrier for that matter, and it's all over. Thiago Pereira, I am not jinxing you. My apologies, no more commentators curse from me, but he's going to have to keep a very clean header. That's Kavin Rajapaksa, who has appeared to have made a small mistake. And that's Tehane Ranga. And Kavin Rajapaksa is taking it to Tehane Ranga now. Thiago Pereira there in the background. We can see the final lap. We're getting some intense racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Tehane Ranga still trying to keep clear of Kavin Rajapaksa, but Kavin is still bringing that multicolored cross car to Tehane Ranga, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. Tehane Ranga takes it to the final chicane, and he comes round to bring it in P2. Kavin Rajapaksa P3, and Thiago Pereira, here he comes. Is he going to make a move? No, he will not. He's going to keep it safe, and that's Thiago Pereira who claims the final spot into the feature race. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is your... Okay, looks like Kavin Rajapaksa has attended to the barriers there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your finishing order. We have Shyama Mendes up in P1, followed by Tehane Ranga in P2, Kavin Rajapaksa in P3, and Thiago Pereira rounding off the final slot for the feature race. My goodness. That was certainly something to watch. Unfortunate there for Suleik Mushin, who had a mistake, I believe, going into lap 3. And now we are in the consolation race, where we take the drivers that didn't make it from Heat 1 and Heat 2, put them into one race and give them one last chance to make it into the final 12 of the feature race. We have Viren Boteju, Suleik Mushin, Shehan Silva, Jeff Chi, Manun Tanzila, Kelvin Jung, Kevan Samarajiva, Shevan Vitarna, Abdullah Ayaz, and our beloved race director in there, but he is solely stewarding this race. as we wait once again, ladies and gentlemen, for the lights to go green. It's all to play for here in the consolation race. This is going to be one to watch, and as we see in the top left, 15 laps as opposed to the 8 we saw in the heat. This is going to be one to watch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, consolation race as we wait for the lights to go green.
Green flag, green flag.
It's green, 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 and we are underway as all cars get off the line quite well, but that's Kelmin Jung. No, that's not Kelmin Jung. I am stuttering already. That's Suleik Mushin versus Viren Boteju as they all jostle for position going into the... Oh my goodness, there is a lot of cross cars all together at one place at one time, but they all get together fairly safely. Suleik Mushin still in the lead, followed by Viren Boteju and Kelmin Jung in P3, followed by Jeff Chi in P4, Shavan Vitarnam, P5, and that's Shehan Silva watching in P6. Abdullah Ayaz bringing up the rear. Jeff Chi, now we're following on board Jeff Chi. No, we are not following Jeff Chi, we're following Shehan Silva. Shehan Silva getting handled or chased by Abdullah Ayaz now, as Abdullah Ayaz is playing mind games, as it seems, on Shehan Silva. As he go up to the wide angle shot, we're watching Viren Boteju up in front chasing down Suleik Mushin. These two drivers obviously are well and truly clear into the feature race, but they are obviously fighting for the glory of P1 to show who's boss effectively. And that is a beautiful move from Shevan Vitarna to clear Kelmin Jung, and that's gonna be contact. Oh my gosh, that is insane driving there, and good avoidance there from, I believe that was Shehan Silva. I'm already getting my head mixed up around the drivers here, but we are now following Kelmin Jung as he's chasing after that final spot in the feature race. Abdullah Ayaz as he's trying to knock off Abdullah from P4, and Kelmin Jung having to keep a very level head as he's being chased by Shehan Silva and Kevan Samarajiva. What a terrifying sight that must be. Two cross cars absolutely duking it out, and there's somebody who's gone wide. I believe that was Shehan Silva who has had a bit of a mistake there, and it's Kevan Samarajiva who is now chasing after Kelmin Jung. Very clean there from Kevan Samarajiva as he tries to avoid Jeff T coming in from the but Shevan Vitarna also being chased by Abdullah Ayaz. As it stands, I believe Suleik Mushin is clear of Viren Boteju. Viren only... Oh no, my apologies. Viren Boteju only 5/10 behind Suleik Mushin, but Shevan Vitarna and Abdullah Ayaz also very close. Kevan Samaraji were chasing after Kelmin Jung. Apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of battles going on here. It's hard to keep them all tracked at once. I am losing my voice as I speak, but Shevan Vitarna currently in P3, followed by Abdullah Ayaz. The battle raging on at Winton Raceway here. This is the fight for P3, and there's only one person who's hoping they'll keep battling, and that's Kelmin Jung, who we can see right behind in the camera shot there. As you can see briefly, there he is, and there's Kevan Samarajiva also chasing after that final spot for the feature race. Shevan Vitarna doing an absolutely brilliant job trying to keep Abdullah Ayaz behind, but Abdullah showing no signs of slowing down as he's done a bit of a late braking move there. Wonderful move. Meanwhile, Kevan Samarajiva, never mind. Seems like the fourth one. Okay, no, there we go. Kevan Samarajiva showcasing an absolute resolute battle here. Trying to keep, wow, all the drivers practically tandeming through Winton Raceway. Having said the word tandem a lot, just goes to show how these carts are wonderful in the hands of the drivers that can actually handle it. As they're going for a wonderful move. Kevan Samarajiva, no, Kelvin's coming back. Kelvin's coming back. They're keeping it side by side through the jump, but it's Kevan Samarajiva who clears Kelmin Jung and goes up into P5. And now the man who's going to hope for a mistake from Abdullah Ayaz. Never mind, here comes Kelvin. There's a little bit of a clap there from the front left of Kelmin Jung, and Kevan Samarajiva takes the cut very wide, going into the final chicane complex. Now we are going to see some really strong battles. There's somebody around at Kelvin. I believe Kelvin and Kevan did not see that coming, and Jeff G has said, thank you very much, I will now take that position from you. You did well. Unfortunate there for Kelmin Jung in the number 24 but Jeff Chi has now jumped him in P1. No, not P1, P6 in the number 1 cross car. And now, Kelvin is now left to face off against Shehan Silva, where Jeff Chi has now, but only to chase after Kevan Samarajiva. Meanwhile, up in front, Shevan Vitarna up in P3, keeping a very, very cool head. Can the fourth wall maybe throw us to Viren Boteju? There we go, the fourth wall is listening, thank you very much. Suleik Mushin currently leading the way with around 6 laps to go, and Viren Boteju still chasing after. I believe Viren Boteju, all he's doing is keeping a clear head because he knows he's through and he knows he's safe. As it stands, he just has to keep a relatively close gap to Suleik to avoid Shevan Vitarna or Abdullah Ayaz from getting close. We see a wonderful drift from Abdullah Ayaz there, going into the chicane complex. But Suleik Mushin, the current leader of the consolation race, followed by, of course, Viren Boteju. So, ladies and gentlemen, as it stands, Suleik Mushin currently leading the way, still leading the way, with Viren Boteju chasing behind. But behind them, for the battle for P3, Shevan Vitarna and Abdullah Ayaz absolutely duking it out to try and fight for the glory of P3. I believe Abdullah Ayaz knows he's to the feature race, but he still wants the bronze, he still wants the podium. To show who he is, Abdullah Ayaz, man from Bangladesh, fighting Shevan Vitarna as he tries to take another switchback route here. This is the wonder of rallycross here, ladies and gentlemen. As we're watching these two drivers take absolutely different lines, but they will benefit from both the lines. One for defensive, one for attack. This is going to be very interesting, and it's all up to car control. But that was a wonderful move, or an attempt, I should say, from Abdullah Ayaz to try and end one on Shevan Vitarna. And maybe that's started playing around with Shevan Vitarna a little bit, because now Abdullah Ayaz is hot on the tail of his cross car. But now up in front we are watching, okay, never mind, we are watching Shevan Vitarna and Abdullah Ayaz chasing after each other. Shevan Vitarna still keeping that gap very, very minimal, and Abdullah Ayaz absolutely keeping it clinical to fight against Shevan Vitarna. This is going to be very interesting going into the final few laps here. As now we're on board Suleik Mushin as they encounter traffic up ahead. Now what's going to be the case? Suleik Mushin is, and there's Viren Boteju, who has played a wonderful game, waited for Suleik Mushin to get caught up in the traffic, and he's gone for the joker lap. And now it's all up to Viren Boteju if he can go on board him. Viren Boteju, yes, look at the timing screen on the left there, ladies and gentlemen. Viren Boteju has jumped Suleik Mushin and has used the joker lap to absolute perfection. And now Viren also getting caught up in a little bit of traffic. There's Suleik right behind him. Kelvin's going to need to get out of the way there, because Viren Boteju is being chased down by Suleik Mushin. And I believe Kelvin has done Viren or Suleik some wonders there by having, oh, that's very close from the traffic there, and this is going to be very interesting, very akin to the Nürburgring 24 hours, and unfortunately both the cars getting caught up in serious traffic. That's going to be a problem, and I saw Kelvin there for a split second has been sent to the shadow realm, unfortunately, and has spun out. But Viren Boteju and Suleik Mushin, unfortunately, because of the traffic, they have been held up and they are still very close to each other. So Viren's advantage he gained from the joker lap has been nullified basically. As you can see there in the distance, can the fourth wall please switch to Viren and Suleik please? Because there's a wonderful Titanic battle going on there. No, wait, the race is over it seems. And that's Viren Botejo who has taken P1, followed by Suleik Mushin and Shevan Vitarana. Oh, that was wonderful. Wait, is the race still going on? The race is still going on. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. The race is still on. The race is still on. Kelvin absolutely spins it. Viren Botejo still going side by side with Suleik Mushin. They're still fighting for it. These two drivers want the win, but I don't think Suleik has done enough. Meanwhile, in the background, Abdullah Ayaz has jumped. Shevan Vitarana, how have we missed this? There's been a switcheroo on both the drivers. And that means we've gone from Suleik leading Viren and Shevan leading Abdullah to Viren winning the race and Suleik in P2 followed by Abdullah Ayaz in P3 and Shevan Vitarana in P4. They are your drivers who will advance to the final feature race. Kevan Samarajiva 20 seconds behind the top four, just goes to show just how fast those drivers were. And unfortunately, he will not make it to the feature race. Only the top four advance, and there's Kevan Samarajiva who finally crossed the line. My goodness, that was a race and a half, ladies and gentlemen. Now we advance to, I believe, the final race, and that is the feature race. So now all the drivers will now warm up to enter the final race. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back and we are back. The warm-up has now finished. It is now all to play for. We have Brian Pereira up in P1, Shyama Mendes in P2, Seshan in P3, Tehane Ranga P4, Savi P5, Kavin Rajapaksa P6. They've been slotted
Green,
odd
green.
even from their relevant races. It's green, 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 and we are underway for the final time today in the feature race, the main race. Brian Pereira will lead the way, followed by Shyama Mendes, Seshan Gunasekara. That's Tehane Ranga who's got on the side. Oh no, he's got it all mixed up, but luckily these are gravel cars and those things can handle it. There's a lot of track on for the Joker lap off the back. But this is going to be very interesting. Savi Ratnayaka up in P3 so far. In front of him, Seshan Gunasekara. No, that's Brian Pereira. Seshan Gunasekara comes up. My gosh, look at ladies and gentlemen. Fibers very clean there. And now we go racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Pereira leads the way, still followed by Seshan Gunasekara and Shyama Mendes up in P3. Tehane Ranga, unfortunately, with an unfortunate, he maybe may have mixed it up going into the first corner and braked a little too late, and somebody's gone wide there to go into the Joker lap now. That was unfortunate for Tehane Ranga, but there's Kavin Rajapaksa in the multicolored cross car. Easy to spot him from a mile away. There's Sulek Mushin in front of him, and in front of him is Savi Ratnayaka running the 69 cross car. In front of Savi Ratnayaka, there's Seshan Gunasekara. Oh, wait, hang on a minute. Shyama Mendes has jumped Seshan Gunasekara. Wow! Savi two-wheeling it through that complex there. And Kavin Rajapaksa getting very close to the gearbox of Sulek Mushin. This is going to be very interesting going into the start-finish straight. Thiago Pereira has also got a bucket of popcorn. There it is. If you are playing a game of bingo and you are trying to wait, oh no! Kavin Rajapaksa has got an effective mushroom boost from Thiago there. But yes, if anybody in the stream was waiting for me to say about the popcorn thing, there you go. Bucket of popcorn is back, and Thiago Pereira has one big bucket of it as he's watching Kavin Rajapaksa getting all mixed up, and there's some form of contact between two drivers there. Kavin Rajapaksa not seemingly being able to keep it within rounds of Thiago's attempt on the tag. That was not grammatically correct. My apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. So many emotions, so much happening in a little time frame. But there's Viren Botejo also watching Kavin Rajapaksa tackling Thiago Pereira. But up in front is still Brian Pereira, who is dominating the way with a 38.991. The current fastest time of the race, fastest lap of the race. Shyama Mendes up in P2, having overtaken Seshan in P3, but Seshan is still 5/10 behind him, so don't count him out just yet. As you can see there in the distance, Savi Ratnayaka absolutely sending it around and out of the dirt complex and now on the tarmac, where all the drivers are going to have to struggle with the grip, because that initial dirt layer on the tires is going to cause absolute hell for the drivers, as Thiago Pereira is starting to gap Kavin Rajapaksa and now set his sights on Sulek Mushin, as Abdullah Ayaz gets it all mixed up and somebody else has got it all mixed up. I do not know who that driver was, but unfortunately there was contact there going into the start-finish straight. But to all the drivers that haven't held their Joker lap yet, this is going to be a tactical game, as we did see earlier with Viren Botejo chasing after Abdullah Ayaz. Not Abdullah Ayaz, my apologies, Sulek Mushin in the previous race in an attempt to try and jump him, and that he did. So expect to see some tactical gameplay here with that Mario Kart shortcut. That is the Joker lap here at Winton Raceway. So far, ladies and gentlemen, the Syren RCX Cross Car Championship powered by CMSC Esports and iRacing has been wonderful, and we are going to be racing for the upcoming until like the end of June, so stay tuned for many more races, as need I remind you, the winner gets to test the Syren RCX Cross Car made in Sri Lanka as well. Thiago Pereira still in P5 and Sulek Mushin up in P4. Rajapaksa has got a wonderful line through the gravel, out of the gravel section, I should say. Ratnayaka still leading the way in P3, and Sulek Mushin currently chasing after Savi Ratnayaka, who is also being chased by Thiago Pereira, who is also being chased by Kavin Rajapaksa. Oh, and there's contact. That's Tehane Ranga around Abdullah Ayaz. Wow, narrowly misses Tehane Ranga. Seems like Tehane Ranga, this wasn't his day, unfortunately, and the gravel is catching him unexpected in many ways, more than one, unfortunately for him. Nevertheless, we push on. We have less than half the race distance to go now. And now Suleik Mushin getting very close to Savi Ratnayaka as Thiago Pereira, look at that, taking defensive action from Kavin Rajapaksa, and now that's going to upset Thiago's chase for Suleik Mushin, as now he's got a very feisty Kavin Rajapaksa on his tail. And obviously now, since it's a feature race, they're going to be playing for the big points here. So all the drivers are fighting for position as opposed to qualifiers. What I tried to say there. But Thiago Pereira is now being pestered by Kavin Rajapaksa, which now gives Suleik Mushin breathing room chase after Savi Ratnayaka. So this is going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Is Kavin Rajapaksa going to make a move on Thiago Pereira as Thiago does put his car towards the inside a little bit? Are we going to see a move from Kavin Rajapaksa going the long way around? No, he will not, as Thiago also keeps it relatively close and closer to Suleik as well. So Thiago is in fact gaining on Suleik Mushin. Never mind, here comes Kavin Rajapaksa, who has gained and wow, Kavin very close to Thiago's gearbox there, and I mean, whoa! Never mind, there's not Suleik Mushin. Suleik Mushin has unfortunately disappeared. I believe that's netcode. No, there he is. Please bear with us there, ladies and gentlemen. This is virtual, not real life, so these things are to be expected, but the drivers are still there on track racing. Still all to play for. Thiago Pereira still in the number 81 cross car, chasing after Suleik Mushin, who is still in P4. Savi Ratnayaka, very comfortable. I'm going to tap some wood here for you, my friend. Still clear in P3, keeping the battle at bay, but Suleik Mushin still doing wonders to keep that cross car up in P4 and to give him valuable points and a good starting ground for the competition, as Savi Ratnayaka is also dipping in and out of display there. Thiago Pereira seems to have cleared Kavin Rajapaksa for now, but Kavin did get back to Thiago in a lap or two, so don't count him out just yet. Meanwhile, up in front, Brian Pereira has still cleared the track, and Seshan Gunasekar is back up in P2. Hang on a minute, Shyama Mendes is missing. However, I just noticed this. Shyama Mendes is missing from the top 10. Maybe there's been a mistake, unfortunate for him. But as it stands, your order is Brian Pereira up in P1, Seshan Gunasekar in P2, Savi Ratnayaka in P3, but is that going to be for long? Here comes Suleik Mushin up in P4. Let's keep an eye on that battle. Thiago Pereira P5, followed by Kavin Rajapaksa P6. There's Kavin Rajapaksa, who's gone a little wide there. Maybe got it mixed up for him, but that's unfortunate. So Kavin Rajapaksa is effectively out of the battle for now, unless he can do something about it. He is going to do something about it. There he goes into the Joker lap. So I believe his eventual goal was to stay something similar to what Viren was doing, and that was to stay relatively close to Thiago in hopes to jump him in the Joker lap. Has he jumped him? Just about! But Thiago Pereira hold that advantage, and that's wonderful decision. That's a wonderful decision from Kavin to get back in the mix. His goal was to jump Thiago Pereira, but that hasn't worked out. Instead, he has gained back his advantage which he lost, and is now chasing after Thiago Pereira once again, very close to Thiago there as the clouds loom over winter racing. This is going to be very interesting. I doubt it's going to rain, but who wouldn't like a little bit of chaos in this race? So far, Savi Ratnayaka still in P3, Suleik Mushin P4, Thiago P5, Kavin P6, Viren P7, Abdullah Ayaz in P8, Shivam Vitarna in P9, and Tehane Ranga rounding off the grid in P10. My goodness, this is a battle for the ages here, ladies and gentlemen, and all the drivers are keeping it relatively clean through the chicane section, and I doubt they'd be pushing it at this stage in time. But now we're in lap 14. If anyone's going to take the Joker lap now, they better take it now, as all the drivers are taking a very different line going into the final, my apologies, the transition from the tarmac to dirt. Now, look at that tandem of four, I say four, there's the four car. For the tandem of four cars, as Kavin Rajapaksa is getting very feisty behind Thiago Pereira. He wants him to get a move on, but Thiago is keeping a very cool head. This is going to be very interesting going into the final lap. Are we going to see an absolute cataclysm, absolute diabolical move from Kavin Rajapaksa? We know he's done it before. There's the white flag, and in iRacing, that means the final lap. Are we going to see a dive bomb from Kavin Rajapaksa? Now on Thiago Pereira. If anyone's going to take the Joker lap, they better do it now. There goes somebody into the Joker lap. That is Viren Motejo, who has once again saved it for the very end. While all these cars are battling, there's a wonderful shot of Viren Boteju absolutely clearing the drivers. Here he comes. There's Viren Boteju going to slot into this. He's going to look, it looks like he's going to annoy Thiago Pereira. Oh no, fixed it up. There's Viren Boteju who has absolutely sent it to the shadow realm of the track. Unfortunate for him, that hasn't worked out. It's Savi Ratnak who will take P3, select machine P4. Thiago Pereira will hold Kavin Rajpaksa in P5. And that will be it, ladies and gentlemen. Your race winner, the feature race winner, is Brian Pereira and Seshan Gunasekara in P2. There's the celebratory donuts from Brian Pereira there. Brian Pereira and Seshan Gunasekara. This is Gran Turismo Race at Home Reborn. And that's those two drivers in P1 and P2. Brian Pereira P1, Seshan P2, Savi Ratnayaka P3. Wonderful driving there, level head, and he holds all the drivers behind him. Sulek Mushin P4, Thiago Pereira P5, Kavin Rajapaksa P6. A wonderful late decision from Viren to take the Joker lap as an advantage gain, but unfortunately didn't work out for him. He finishes in P7. Abdullah Ayaz will finish in P8. Tehane Ranga in P9 after an unfortunate race start and midway through the race. And Shevan Mitarna will round off your top 10 for the race. That was round 1 of the Syren RCX Cross Car Championship here, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Nevan Jayawardena. That was amazing. You think it's over? Not yet, ladies and gentlemen. We have many more races. Follow our CMSC Esports page on Instagram.